Hey, this is Phil from Race City Retro, and today we're going to talk about Cal Custom automotive parts and accessories. Since the 1950s, Cal Custom was a dominant company in automotive parts and accessories. They were not a speed part company. They didn't make camshafts, they didn't make exhaust, they didn't make intake manifolds. They made accessories that went on your engine, in your interior, on your car, but they really took over the market. And by the 1970s, they were probably one of the biggest you'd find in your local auto parts store. You didn't see a lot of their stuff in speed shops, very minimal. But in your auto parts stores, you usually saw it all. They usually had a whole aisle dedicated to Cal Custom parts. Today I'm going to take you back in time. I'm going to take you back to the week you first got your driver's license, because all the guys I grew up with, it's the same story. And maybe yours is similar too, but mine went something just like this. You headed over to driver's ed, where you take your driver's ed, you pass with flying colors, you take your road test, and you pass that with flying colors. You're so happy. You go tell mom and dad, and they say, well, that's great. We've got some good news for you. Your dad and I are going to give you the old Impala, because dad's going to buy one of those new economy cars, Datsuns. They're really good on gas, and he needs it for work. But one deal, you got to keep your grades up. Oh, wait, and you got to get a job. So you talk to your buddy, and he says, hey, the A&P's hiring. You go over there and fill out an application. McDonald's is hiring. You go over there and fill out an application. Burger King is hiring. You go over there and fill out an application. Photomat is hiring, and you think to yourself, Photomat? Oh, that's okay, though. That cute girl named Tracy works there. You'd rather work at the Texaco where all your buddies hang out, but they're not hiring right now. You wind up at the worst place possible, Sears, and of course, they're the ones that hire you. Hey, wait, though, there's something good about Sears. They sell Craftsman tools. I can get a discount. You get your first paycheck, and you learn all about that tax thing that your dad's been screaming about, but whatever. You cash it, you jump back in the Impala, you go pick up your buddy. And he says, not knowing anything more than you really know about cars, boy, this car seems slow. Didn't you flip your lid? Flip my lid? What are you talking about, flip my lid? You gotta flip your lid, man. It adds like 40 horsepower. I flipped the lid on my father's Scamp, and you got to see the burnout it did at Mobile the other day. So you pull over to the side of the road, you and him flip your lid, you get in it, put your foot to the ground, whoa, and you can't believe the difference. You head it right over to the auto parts store to spend that paycheck you just cashed, walk in and see this. A whole wall of goodies, including some of Cal Custom's coolest stuff. Let's see what else Cal Custom had to offer in the 1970s. Now, once you cashed that first check, you had some money to buy a nice chrome air cleaner. So when you pop that hood and show your buddies, the first thing they see is that chrome air cleaner on that greasy stock engine. But man, it had the look. Very impressive. Cal Custom had this awesome display you would see in the auto parts store, which gave you probably more of their most popular part number air cleaners, but this wasn't all they offered. Now here's all the smaller units made for single barrel carburetors, 2-barrel carburetors. This was for the guys that maybe they didn't have that 4-barrel. They might have had a 2-barrel on top of their small block, or worse, a 6-cylinder engine, a 4-cylinder engine, a Volkswagen. Or maybe you were lucky enough to have something with tri-power on it. You needed 3 of these. And if you look at those chrome bells, those go all the way back to the 50s with Cal Custom, when they were, doing a lot of flathead parts or multiple carb intake air cleaners. So this first page, even though it's the 70s, it shows a lot of heritage there from the 50s and 60s. Next page, they're showing some bigger diameter air cleaners. And now these are for both 4-barrel carburetors and 2-barrels. They made these for, where they had a 2-barrel plate on the bottom, and these air cleaners were anywhere from 6 inches to 8 inches in diameter. So this is for low hood clearance maybe too. Some of these were pretty thin, so you didn't really want to run anything that thin unless you didn't have any type of hood clearance in your car. Now these I remember a lot. These were like their showpieces. When you opened the hood, you could comb your hair in this thing. It was like a mirror looking right back at you. And they had a nice variety of sizes. They came with that nice heavy tri-bar spinner. So anything from little single barrel carbs up to full 14-inch 4-barrel carb air cleaners. But these, I remember the chrome on top was amazing on these air cleaners. Now on this page, it's the reverse of the previous air cleaners, whereas those had an indentation on the top. These are bubbled up for, I'm guessing, a different, like a low profile type setup over the carburetor. And on this page, we see the introduction of the Fly's Eye top left. We all know that air cleaner. That's probably about the lowest air cleaner for hood clearance you can get, but it was ran on all the tuners, all the day two guys, Motion, Yenko, all those guys ran that same Fly's Eye air cleaner. If you could find one today, I've seen them go for over $1,000 NOS, one of those Fly's Eyes. So keep an eye out. And notice I'm leaving all the part numbers in too when I scan the bottom. If you're looking to buy something, pause your video and you could write down the part number if you like one of these air cleaners, and then go to eBay or search it out, Google it, see if there's one out there for sale. Now this is a very strange page because you've got the oldest of the old. They've got the Bell air cleaner on top, which has been around since the 50s. The two Scoops, which have been around since the 60s. And you got to remember, this is late 70s, this catalog. And then top right, you have new. They have a gold air cleaner. Now, were they going after Moroso with the success of their gold air cleaners and valve covers? Wait till we get to valve covers and then you tell me. And does anybody ever remember seeing Cal Custom gold air cleaners and gold valve covers? Because I never have. Did you? Look at that in-store valve cover display. Could you imagine walking into the auto parts and seeing those beautiful clear plastic display boxes plus all the goodies? You got your oil fill caps and breathers, and down on the bottom you got the stamped steel valve covers and T-bars, and they threw an oil pan in there too. Wow. All right, speaking of valve covers, here we go. This is probably one of their best-selling items ever, but next to the air cleaners, I don't know who hasn't ran a set of Cal Custom valve covers or bought a set at a swap meet or hunted them down. And they made them for small block Chrysler, big block Chrysler, small block Ford, FE Ford, 351 Cleveland Ford, small block Chevy, big block Chevy, and Pontiac. And that was it. No Oldsmobile, no Buick, no AMC. So they kind of were limited, but amazing valve covers, tremendous quality. Still to this day, they're some of the nicest polished aluminum valve covers you're ever going to find. You already saw the gold anodized air cleaner in the air cleaner section. Now we have stamped aluminum gold anodized valve covers. Small block Chevy. It looks to me like they were going right after Moroso with their success of their gold valve covers, but I don't ever remember seeing these for sale in any store or on any car. Do you? You know anybody that ran Cal Custom gold anodized valve covers? Next to that, you have a tall fin small block Chevy. Under that, you have the smooth fin small block Chevy, no holes. Under that, you have the early style, probably staggered bolt small block Chevy, kind of like Milner's Coupe. And to the left of that, you have the stamped steel chrome metal cheapies on the bottom left. Once you bought those Cal Custom valve covers, you needed all the accessories to go with it, and Cal Custom offered everything, even valve cover gaskets. Another thing I don't ever remember seeing, Cal Custom branded valve cover gaskets. They had the wing nuts or T-bolts, whatever you want to call them. They had some awesome breathers, 4.5-inch breathers, both straight and 90 degree, and then the usual grommets and twist-on oil filler caps. Now this seems strange to me, but I guess if you were building an engine fresh, you would need this, but they also offered finned aluminum oil pans for small block Chevy and big block Chevy. I mean, if the engine's out, yeah, it's an easy install, but not too many people are going to crawl underneath to swap out a finned aluminum oil pan and impress their buddies. Maybe with like a street rod or a T-bucket back then, it makes sense. When it came to engine accessories, Cal Custom had you covered. All types of goodness on this store display. I'm seeing everything from wire looms to carb spacers, Holly double pumper fuel lines. I mean, just some pretty amazing stuff. Oil filter adapters, 2 to 4 barrel spacers, all that good stuff from back in the day. Check these out. Cal Custom wire looms, which kept your ignition wires in place off the headers. They bolted right under one of your valve cover bolts, held everything nice and neat. And then check out all these oil filler caps, push on, twist on, breather, regular, as well as some other line and hose clamps and some wire ties. And check out that clear distributor cap. We put one on my buddy's car. We could not wait for it to get dark so we could see that blazing spark in there. But with those points, man, it was barely noticeable. They also have some real nice chrome water necks, guaranteed to leak. Put it any way you want, straight, 90, left. Oil filler tube in chrome, and the dagger dipstick, which turns your dipstick into a sword. If your buddy had it, you two can fence out under the hoods of your cars. After that, they have their electronic ignition box. Did Cal Custom have their own MSD box back in the 70s? Kind of weird. Some distributor hold downs and fuel pump block off plates. Now that the engine's done and looking so good, we better turn our attention to the outside of this car and let's do some exterior accessories by Cal Custom. Back in the 1970s, no different than today, people were sticking stuff all over their cars. Vinyl stripes, vinyl lettering, pinstriping. Prism was red hot. Prism lettering was everywhere, and Cal Custom had something for everyone. When it came to pinstriping, Cal Custom had all the bases covered. They had common 2-line pinstripes in all colors and thicknesses. They had a prism pinstripe. Then they had like the 50 style fountains and scrolls and everything you needed to make your car look like it was professionally pinstriped. And if that wasn't enough, they had stick-on glass etching, which I remember was real popular in the 70s. And then they had the initial kit, the door initial kit, because in the 70s, for some reason, everybody had to have their initials on their doors. It looked really cool when you pulled up at the disco. And if you didn't like that vintage look on your modern, brand new 70s car, they had pre-cut stripes to give you that modern racy look that Cal Custom claims available in over 1,000 different combinations. Pretty cool. Now that your ride is all striped up and looking good, you definitely need a windshield script. You can get your car make on it, or you could do a custom one and put your own name on it. Plus, they have a selection of peel and stick lettering decals with the slogans of the day of the 70s. And then, of course, we talked about that prism. Everything on here, all types of lettering. They call it diffraction, but it's actually prism is what everyone else knows it by. And these stickers were so popular on all the cars and trucks of the day. When you see one on a 70s car, it just fits the car perfect. You guys have been asking us for years through our website, racecityretro.com, if we could make those Prism vehicle name decals again, the ones that were so popular in the 70s, because when you find them used, they're old and dried up. They don't peel and stick anymore. But guess what? We did it. They're all available now on our website. If you don't see a vehicle you're looking for, just shoot us an email. We will make it for you. We also offer engine size call out numbers, which you can pick your engine cubic inches and a cubic inch decal that goes along with them. But wait, it gets even better. One of the other big things of the day was Prism license plates. We do all the cool cars and trucks on Prism license plates as well. Be sure to get over to racecityretro.com and check out that retro 1970s Prism Gold. You know your day 2 muscle car, custom van, hot rod, old truck needs one of those license plates desperately. Grab one today. All right, so you got that ride all striped up, you got it lettered up, you got your Prism decal on it. And if there's anything else as far as customizing you wanted to do with a can of spray paint, man, let me tell you, Cal Custom had unlimited choices with their paint line. And this is another thing I don't ever remember seeing a can of Cal Custom paint. But man, they did it all. If you look at this paint rack, they had high heat paint, they had candy paints, they had metal flake paints, they had engine enamel, they had the black wrinkle, they had epoxies, they had primers, they had vinyl paints, they had satin black, they had anti-glare black, and they even had spray on window tint, which I don't know if you've ever dealt with that, but I sure have. What a nightmare to scrape that stuff off an old car's windows. Been there, done that. Now that you got that ride looking so good and you got all those goodies under that hood, time for some hood pins to lock it all down. And Cal Custom had quite the selection. All the traditional style hood pins with the push clip or with the grenade style clip. Then they had some hood pins for the bad neighborhoods. They had some Chapman lock style hood pins. They had some house key style hood pins. They even had some padlock hood pins that took a literal padlock on them. Look at those, man. That had to be some bad neighborhood. Cal Custom also had some goodies for your wheels. They didn't forget that part either. Take a look at this great display. I mean, some pretty amazing stuff there. That would be what you saw in the auto parts store. And they had everything from lug nuts to the old tire paint pen. Do you remember those? You can make your black letters, white letters. They had spider center caps. They had the flat caps for your rear wheels just to finish it off. They had baby moons, which was a favorite. Everybody loved baby moons if you were running steel wheels. They also had these blackjacks. They weren't moons, but I had a couple sets of those. I found a couple sets NOS that I used on some of my cars. They look really great. And the dust caps. Who remembers the Cal Custom dust caps? Every time you banged them on, they dented. Now, if you didn't want baby moons, they also had full wire wheels. And then they had this other strange hubcap that kind of looked like a black steel wheel with a dog dish cap and a trim ring. Strange, very strange. And then behind those wheels and tires, you needed some splash guards or mud flaps, depending on where you live. Some nice stainless steel with the Pittsburgh Steel logo, made in the USA, splash guards. Maybe you wanted to jack up your ride. Maybe you wanted to lower your ride. Cal Custom offered some of the most dangerous ways to accomplish either of that. Starting off with the good old shackle kit. Oh man, talk about dangerous. Then on the bottom, you have several versions of shock absorber extensions for GM, Ford, and Mopar cars. Then top right, oh man, dangerous like you never want to see. Coil spring condensers or expanders. So if you wanted to lower your car, you put those clamps on the springs and crank down, tightening it to compress your coil springs. Or if you wanted to raise your car, you flip the two brackets and push the two springs out to lift the car with coil springs. Dangerous? Man, talk about dangerous. But those were the days we didn't think, we just did. Time to dress up that interior and look at this display. Man, all kinds of good interior accessories by Cal Custom. One of my favorites are the pedal pads. These were so easy. You just put them on the top of the pedal. They had some tabs that bent over and wrapped around the back. And Cal Custom made them all. They made 4-speed pads, the short gas pedal, the long gas pedal. You also had the Surfer, the hang 10 foot for gas pedal, and the matching dimmer switch, which went on your high beam switch. Really easy to install. I love the heavy black rubber grip you got when you put these on over the stock pedals. Amazing. I love them. Then you got door handles. These were the best because you just picked out your make and model. Cal Custom had one, and you swapped your boring stock window cranks and door handles with these, and they looked tough on the car. Real nice look to it. Then you had the steering wheel covers, which I was the man. Everybody came to me to put those things on. You remember them? Did you have one on your car? You wrapped the wire around the wheel, you looped it in the bottom, you melted it with a cigarette lighter, and it gave you that grip that you needed to tear in and out of those turns with that big land yacht you were driving. And if for some reason Cal Custom felt the need to offer international dash knob switches, switch knobs, because at that time in the 70s, all the manufacturers were putting these on the new cars where all you needed was the symbol. It showed you the music note was for the radio, it had the flame for the lighter, it had the wiper logo for your wiper switch. So Cal Custom had a set that I guess you can modernize any old car. When it came to interior shift knobs, nobody offered more than Cal Custom did. These guys made probably over 100 different knobs, and I mean, look at that display. It's beautiful, but we're talking wood grain knobs. They even made wood grain knobs for column shifters for like custom vans. 8 balls, T handles, barrel shaped with different shift patterns, wood grain balls, just about every shift pattern imaginable, manufacturer logos on the top. They had European style knobs that you'd put on your Vegas and Pintos, like a leather wrap knob. They had everything. They had hot rod tees. They had the El Toro, which if you see an El Toro shifter, that strange looking shifter, grab it, because they're worth a fortune, those things, if you could find one new in the wrapper. And they even did door lock knobs on the topic of knobs. Every kind of door lock knob imaginable. And that neat little thing to the right, back in the day when people could break in your car with a wire hanger, that was the anti-theft piece that went on your door panel to protect your door lock knob so nobody could hit you with the wire hanger. Man, more cool knobs in one spot than I've ever seen. Very nice, Cal Custom. Isn't it incredible how much cool stuff Cal Custom offered in the 1970s? Even into the 80s, they were still selling the same parts. But amazing how much their product line, how many items they had in their product line. So did I take you back? Did you remember that week when you got your driver's license? Did you do the same things that I did and my buddies did to crack into the automotive scene? Did you flip your lid? Were you part of the flip lid race team? Because you can get the shirt. We sell the flip lid race team shirt right on our website, racecityretro.com. If you were part of the team, you could wear that shirt proudly. Get one for a buddy, too, that was also part of the team. Listen, guys, I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it took you back in time. Nothing better than a journey back in time, remembering the good old days. Be sure to like us. Be sure to subscribe. It helps me out. It helps you out because it tells YouTube exactly the type of videos you want to see. Check out our website, racecityretro.com. We have the flip lid shirt there, plus a whole bunch of other hot rod t-shirts, muscle car t-shirts, gasser t-shirts, and a ton of other automotive related products. And for all you guys who have already ordered off our website, and man, this Christmas, this holiday, man, there's been so many. I thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, supporting the website. These videos, they're very hard to do. It's not easy, man. It takes a lot of time, but if you could help us out, you support the channel, buy a couple things off the website, it just lights that fire to make me want to do more and more and more. But there's a lot more coming. There's a lot more automotive stuff, model car stuff, events. Can't wait for 2026. Can't wait to get out there. Can't wait for the weather to warm up so we can do what we love to do again. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Get out in that garage, man, and build something cool.